Hey guys, Double Wide 6, and today I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about the lift table that I use for servicing tractors and snow blowers. It's actually a handy s.a.m 1200 pound lift. So I've made a ton of modifications to this, and I always have questions about it, so I just wanted to have a video that kind of covers everything in case you're interested in getting one. So let's get to it. So here's a look at it. I got it centered in the garage. The lift is, I believe it's 8 inches from my concrete. This is 48 inches wide, and from the front of the lift to the back of the lift, the black part is 7 foot, which is 84 inches, and then you can add about another 30 inches for the ramps. Now the aluminum ramps I built, it comes with ramps that go all the way down the back, but I had a problem with those ramps. Once in a while, some of the tractors, particularly the Craftsman models where the deck's kind of low, when you back off the lift, it would kind of catch because the ramps would tie into these slots here. So I got rid of them. They also were kind of slippery because there's no grip tape on the ramps. So I use this diamond plate aluminum that I had, and that works very well. And I can slide those 2 ramps left or right, or put them together if I have a generator or a snow blower. And if I'm pushing a tractor up on the lift that doesn't work, I could put my feet in between the ramps and they don't slide like they did when I try and push a tractor up you know, that 8-inch lift there to get on top of the lift. So let me raise it up and down just to show you how that works. So it's air operated and it has an airbag. Right here's a foot pedal. So when I hit the up button, it just raises up. And there's a ratchet underneath, you hear clicking. And we'll bring it all the way up. That's it. So that's about how long it takes to lift, and I will check from the floor up to the lift table the height. So we're coming in at 40.5 inches, and as I said, the lift looks like it's made in the USA. It has grease zerks and wheels. It is removable, so you know you can wheel it out of here if you want, which is really nice. And there was some sort of thing under here that you flip to unlock the lock that you heard clicking. There's like a ratchet on here. And I added this handle here. I just welded this thing on. So if the lift needs to go up, it needs to be that way. If you want to bring it down, you just pivot it this way. That way I don't have to bend over and reach, because this lift has these extra panels for tractors. You know, if you're just doing a motorcycle, you might only need the center section, where I have the extra wide. So that works pretty good for me. And the fact that I don't have to bend over and this thing moves very easily is nice. I added a 2x4 up front in case I drive a tractor. It'll kind of rest the wheels against that. I have also installed a winch up here. I just put my impact gun on here with a 3/4 inch socket. And you know, sometimes you get these mowers, particularly the commercial zero turns, if they don't run or there's a transmission problem, getting them on the lift table is a major issue. So that winch takes care of it. Even with the winch, it's not the easiest thing, but at least, you know, I don't hurt my back trying to do it. We'll take a quick look underneath. The lift is pretty well made. You know, it's all steel. It has grease zerks throughout. It has an airbag in there. The older ones had air over hydraulic, which I think would have been a little nicer, like just for me, because the airbag, if you push down on the lift, it'll spring down a little bit. I don't know if you could see that. So once you get your tractor up on there, if you lower the lift, it'll lock. Like right now it's locked on the ratchet, so now it won't bounce. But with the hydraulic, you wouldn't have to do that. That's, you know, a very small thing. Now, another thing that I've done is where these extra foot-long sections add on to the center. You can see I added a steel strip that I just welded in there. I did that mainly for oil leaks. So a lot of times I get oil leaks, particularly hydraulic work, and you know, it's just an oily mess, and it'll drip through the table because there's a pretty large crack in between the two tabletops. So this, you know, I sprayed it off with Flex Seal, and it actually works pretty good at keeping the oil up there. So I do like that. Let me show you some other modifications that I have done. I've added a chain here to the edge, and it just has little carabiners, and this is very good for zero-turn tractors, because a lot of time what I do is I pick them up with that chain hoist up there. I'll back the tractor on, put it on the chain hoist, and I'll bring up the back of the tractor up above where that yellow mower is, and those front wheels want to pivot and go out to the sides. So I make sure that I chain down both the wheels. Another modification that I made is I added a pretty heavy piece of angle iron, about 2.5 by 2.5 by 1/4, that goes all the way along the back of the lift. And that's really nice because now I can slide these things, except I only have one hand, but I can slide these ramps left or right as needed. It's also very easy for me, those ramps just pop up. So if I want to get them out of the way, because I was like working on the snowblower, I can just lift them off and slide them up on the table. So there's no tools or anything needed. There's another chain on this side, which is very helpful. I also have a chain in that bucket with the chain hoist for picking up like engines. So I just like lock it onto the engine, and then I can use that chain hoist to pick up, kind of as a strap. Another thing that I did is down at the bottom, it's a little hard to see, but I put a bolt into the concrete and I've wrapped the chain around the bottom. And the reason I do that is because many times I have to use the winch, and with these heavy tractors it'll pull this table straight back. So that chain does a really nice job with that. So I think that's pretty much everything that I have done with this lift. And there's also a panel here for motorcycles for changing the wheels. I ended up bolting that down. It is removable still, but you need a wrench. And I had that once grab on something like a tractor deck, and so I bolted it down. But that is nice. Sometimes working on transmissions or belts, things like that, you can get up underneath there, so that's a pretty good feature. And there's also some legs on this table right down here, so when it's all the way down, it sits on those legs. So I've had this thing for about, I don't know, I want to say I probably got it before COVID. I think, I don't know. I've had it about 1.5 or 2 years, and I mean, I love it. I mean, I use it all the time, pretty much with every job I do. And I also have this smaller lift cart, but you know, this thing pays for itself instantly. I mean, when I bought this, I think I ended up paying around $1,600 or $1,800, and I got the entire lift, and there's also like a big vise that goes up front to hold the motorcycle tire, which I don't use. I took it off. I have it stored. But that's what the price was, and I think that they have gone up in price. I'm sure they have. Everything else has gone up. So, you know, that's kind of what I got into it and I had it delivered. Now, I'll take a little bit of time and just tell you my overall thoughts and impression of this lift. So the lift it's called the s.a.m Airlift 1200, and that's the brand, handy. It is well manufactured, you know, a nice paint job. It's all serviceable. They have parts. They're located in the US. I think they stand behind their products. So all that stuff is really good. They did a good job shipping it. I've had tractors that probably have been on this table that weighed a little more than 1,200 pounds. I'm talking about a 72-inch commercial X-Mark tractor. Those tractors are really heavy, and they got to be pretty close to what the max is on this table. And I've lifted them up. The table has struggled lifting them up, but it was able to do it. And one time, you know, I remember having a really heavy tractor on here, and I was having trouble getting the table to go up a little bit, and I just hooked up my chain hoist and helped it out. But it was able to support the table, and also, you know, the table is not going to drop or anything like that if you lose your air connection or hose rips or something like that. My air compressor is 80 gallon, and it's set at like 120 psi is when it turns off. So that's pretty much what I run on it. Now, the only downside or issues that I have with this lift, now that I got it all pimped out, one of the things that I don't like is the side tables were particularly flexy. Like they would bend almost down a little bit with a really heavy tractor because it straddles that center panel. So I did stiffen that up because these pipes are hollow, and I believe through physics, a hollow pipe that runs through is actually stronger than a pipe that's solid metal. But anyhow, I ended up bending the pipe because I had so much weight on the table. So this 2x4 helps stiffen it up, and that metal on the back stiffens it up, and these ribs I put on here stiffen everything up. I have it nice and stiff, so it is working very well, but it did seem a little flimsy as far as those ramps, but pretty much everything else has been good. I haven't had any problems with the pedal. Once in a while that hose will get run over by the wheel, and that'll stop it from moving. So, you know, you think something's wrong, but it's just it's not allowed to let air out of the system to lower it. But yeah, overall it's a great lift, and it has been working very well for me. One other thing that I want to do as far as an upgrade to this table is I want to take something like a big cookie tray, if I could find something 24 by 24, and then I'd like to weld like rebar onto it so I could drive tractor wheels over the tray, and I'd like to keep that underneath tractors when I work on them just to catch oil and be able to, like, you know, not make a mess. Now I can keep the oil on top of the table the way it is. It doesn't leak through, but it's still really messy if you have an oil leak, and it does happen. So yeah, overall this is a really nice lift, and you know, with a little bit of modification it would work great for you. Now, the most impressive thing that I like about this lift is this is like the largest workbench that I can use in my shop. Like, for instance, I got this here. There's always stuff on it. That one there's got stuff. This one here has stuff. So if I want to clear stuff out, take it out of the garage, I could set up a transmission and assemble it on that table. And the work height at 40, what did I say it was, 40.5 inches is fantastic. It's a nice high table, which, you know, will really save your back. So if you have any questions on this lift, or if you're on the fence about whether or not to get it, I would say if you're going to use it, you'll have no complaints with it. You know, you can do some simple modifications. You don't have to be able to weld. If you can bolt a little extra metal on it, if you're going to be picking up heavy stuff and big stuff, that's what I would recommend. But yeah, this has been a great lift table. And if you're not familiar with my channel, it's Double Wide 6 Repairs. And I ask that you please hit the like if this helps you out, and think about subscribing. And if you go back and look at all my repair videos, you'll always see this lift in those videos. So guys, thanks for watching and have a good one.